Okay, so let's get into it. Let's unpack this,
I'm ready. This is a big one.
I think. I think this deep dive is, it's really tailor-made for anyone out there who just craves that high-stakes fantasy drama.
Absolutely. If that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place.
We are focusing on a truly massive epic. You've got gods, you've got monsters, and at the very center of it all, there's a love story that might just burn the entire world down.
It literally might. That's not even an exaggeration in this case.
Not at all. We've got a whole stack of sources here, and they're packed with some of the deepest spoilers and most crucial character analysis from The Wrath of the Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today, for all of you listening, is to give you the ultimate shortcut. We want to help you understand this labyrinth of destiny and destruction.
Well, and I think what's so fascinating here, and what we really have to focus on, is the scale of it all.
The scale is huge.
It's massive. You know, we are talking about worlds ending. We're talking about this ancient cosmic war between primordials and gods. But it's always, and I mean always, grounded in these very personal, individual choices.
And the emotional baggage that comes with them.
Exactly, the emotional baggage. It's a story where the lines between, you know, hero and villain, or even hero and monster, they're just constantly blurring.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You're constantly reevaluating who you think is on the right side.
Which means we really have to analyze these deep emotional currents. Because in this world, feelings aren't just feelings. They are quite literally the engines of cosmic power.
Absolutely. So our mission is pretty direct. We're plunging straight into these crucial excerpts to help you quickly grasp the power players, this really intricate web of loyalties and betrayals.
Oh, the betrayals.
So many betrayals. And, of course, the devastating prophecies that just hang over all the realms. We're going to focus specifically on the character relationships, the mechanics of these terrifying cosmic powers, and, of course, the shocking events that shape this brutal war and its absolutely mind-blowing climax.
And the source material is just incredibly rich. You've got so much personal trauma, these really complex motivations and world-shattering revelations. We have to analyze things like grief and anger and this absolute devotion.
Because they directly dictate everything.
They dictate who lives, who dies, and whether reality itself even holds together, which means we have to start at the source of all this volatility.
And that's where we're going to start, with the central vortex of this whole epic, Dianna and Samkiel. This relationship isn't just the core engine of the plot.
No.
It is, quite literally, volatile enough to tear the fabric of existence apart.
It truly is. I mean, to really understand the chaos they generate, you have to define their respective roles and, maybe more importantly, their powers.
Let's start with Dianna. She is the Igmaruthin, the feared world ender.
Right. And her specific destructive ability is called Oblivion. Now, the first crucial detail here, the technical part, is that this power is innate to her.
It's part of her.
It's part of her. She doesn't need external aids. She doesn't need rituals. It's just there.
And the sources make it so clear how immediate and personal this power is. We see her summon Oblivion even without her specialized ring. And it's almost always triggered by this deep emotional pain or terror.
Especially her nightmares.
Yes, the nightmares. Could you maybe elaborate a little on the severity of those emotional triggers?
The intensity is just, it's immediate and it's physical.
Yeah.
The source highlights this one scene that's just terrifying. She wakes up from a dream.
A vision of Samkiel dying, right?
Exactly, a vision of him dying. And she realizes in that moment of waking panic that she's unleashed Oblivion right there in their room. She describes the ceiling groaning, this oppressive darkness just curling around her like a physical thing.
Yeah, she has to fight it.
She has to actively fight to pull the power back into herself. And the fact that she summons it spontaneously during a nightmare, which is a reaction she hadn't experienced before, it just confirms that her control is so tenuous. The power is directly tied to her deepest fears about loss.
And this destructive nature, this access to Oblivion, it's not just her. It's deeply rooted in a shared trauma that goes way back.
Way back. It wasn't just Dianna who was traumatized. It was the entire lineage of the Igmaruthin.
So Gathriel, the first one.
Exactly. Gathriel, the first Igmaruthin, bonded with her so easily. And not because of some grand destiny or magic, but because he looked at her and recognized their shared fundamental emotional state. He called it an overwhelming and all-encompassing grief.
Wow.
His own world was destroyed by the loss of his partner, Viviv, and their child. And Dianna was carrying the exact same kind of burden, the loss of her sister Gabby, and this constant gnawing fear of losing Samkiel.
So in this mythology, grief isn't a passive emotion.
Not at all. It's the fuel. It's the language of the greatest destructive forces in the universe.
So that's Dianna. She's defined by her grief and her connection to this raw, emotional oblivion. Now, let's contrast that with Samkiel,
The legend himself.
the legend, slayer of beasts, peacekeeper, the dutiful son of the previous god king, Unr.
Hmm.
Externally, he's jest. He's control personified.
Has to be.
But his internal devotion to Dianna is absolute.
Oh.
And maybe terrifyingly destabilizing.
It's more than devotion, it's visceral. He operates under this one simple maxim, and he says it outright. I'd rip the world apart to keep her safe.
And that line is so crucial.
It's everything, because it foreshadows the ultimate revelation about his true nature. For almost the entire story, all the realms are focused on Dianna as the world ender. They believe Samkiel is the protector standing against that force, the thin line holding it all back.
And here's where it gets really, really interesting. This is the spoiler that just fundamentally shatters the entire established narrative of the book.
This is the moment.
When Caden, his former ally, now his rival, he just drops the bomb. He confirms something essential about Samkiel that everyone, including Samkiel himself, had either missed or was in deep denial about.
He says the line.
He says the line, "Your precious world ender doesn't need the ring for oblivion. He is oblivion."
And that is the ultimate twist. Samkiel is not merely related to the power. He isn't just a conduit for it.
He is the power.
He is the power. He is the
Right.
force of destruction. He has spent his entire existence trying to control, trying to cage, and trying to protect the world from. It just forces you, as the reader, to re-examine every single action he has ever taken.
The whole identity.
His entire identity as the peacekeeper is founded on a complete and total lie about his own nature.
So how does that change the meaning of their union?
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to keep Dianna, who is this other source of oblivion, stable, but he himself is the pure, raw element.
Well, the source material explores that irony and the psychological impact of it constantly. I mean, the toll on him is immense.
He tries to hide it, though.
He tries to minimize it constantly. There are these little details, like how he's always rubbing his hands together, almost like dirt, trying to wipe away the traces of oblivion he can feel bucking and writhing against his skin.
So it's not just power control, it's self-denial on a cosmic scale.
It's total self-denial. And he keeps the full extent of this struggle from Dianna because he doesn't want her to worry, which just compounds the secrecy that nearly destroys him.
She has to really push him.
She has to force it out of him. She demands he talk about the physical manifestations of the terrifying nightmares he's having because of this uncontrolled power simmering inside him.
It's a relationship where intimacy, I mean, it literally involves a cosmic feedback loop. We see the volatility of their bond physically manifesting, not just emotionally.
The scene with the scorched room is just an incredible detail. It's after a sexual encounter.
Right.
And Diana's fire magic, combined with their emotional and physical intensity, literally burns the environment around them. She even says it afterwards, something like, "That was the hottest sex we've ever had."
Yeah.
Literally. The entire floor and part of your desk will burn.
Yes, that's the line. And that detail just cements this idea that their emotions and their powers they're chemically and physically reactive. It proves that if they lose control, the consequences are immediate and catastrophic for the world around them.
And their mental link, which is born from this physical and emotional connection, is just as potent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dianna can feel Samkiel's emotions, his love, his rage, his anxiety, and he feels hers in return. This is so much more than just empathy.
It's like an intimate telepathy.
It is. And Reggie, the Fate, he even confirms that this link is their strongest defense mechanism. He assures them they are safe.
But only under one condition.
Right. As long as you two remain inseparable. Their power is dangerous, yes, but their emotional unity is the only thing stabilizing the very forces they wield. It's an explicit rule for the universe. They must be unified to survive the forces trying to consume them.
Which brings us to the biggest deception haunting Samkiel, the secret of his power and the devastating betrayal by his own father, Unr. This is where we really uncover the moral decay at the heart of the previous God King's rule. It's a moment of reckoning for Samkiel's entire past.
Unr's ghost appears to Dianna, of all people.
Yes, and he admits his ultimate failure as both a father and a ruler. Unr was terrified of his own son, not because of anything Samkiel did, but because of what he was.
And Unr reveals that he forged the original ring, the one that was the symbol of Samkiel's authority and his control, as a ring of lies.
A ring of lies. It's such a chilling phrase.
It means it wasn't a tool of governance at all. It was a cage. He made it specifically to trap Samkiel's innate oblivion power inside of it.
And his reasoning, I mean, it's just so cold. He says, sometimes darkness isn't created, it is born. He saw that darkness in his infant son's soul and just tried to deny its existence completely.
So Unir spent Samkiel's entire life pushing him towards this righteous path, towards being the dutiful peacekeeper, specifically to cage the beast he feared.
He denied Samkiel the ability to understand his own power, to integrate it, or to control it. This is such a profound betrayal of trust and identity. Unir's ambition wasn't just about protecting the world, it was about protecting his own legacy and denying his son's frightening nature.
Okay, but if Samkiel's oblivion, why did Unir's lie work for so long? Why did that ring hold such power over Samkiel's perception of himself?
Because Unir didn't just contain the power, he manufactured the identity to go along with it.
Wow.
He instilled this core belief in Samkiel that the darkness was external, that it was something manageable through control and duty. And that explains why Samkiel is so desperate to get a replacement ring after he loses the original.
He's not seeking a weapon.
He's not seeking a weapon. He's seeking a psychological anchor. He believes he is too unpredictable without it. He's still operating under the fear that his father implanted in him, trying to reinforce the cage instead of seeking mastery over his true self.
So the moment Dianna finally tells him what Caden said, that he is oblivion, that's pivotal. You'd expect the tension to be explosive.
You would. But instead, it just crystallizes their shared resolve. They realize they can only fight their dark destiny by confronting it together, by acknowledging the darkness they both harbor. It transforms their relationship from protector and protected
Into partners.
into true partners against fate itself. And that confrontation is so essential because it allows Samkiel to finally shed that false identity of the peacekeeper that Unir forced on him and embrace the truth of who he is. He finds control not through denial, but through acceptance and his love for Dianna.
Then that's the foundation they absolutely need before heading into the wider conflict.
Without it, they'd have no chance.
Okay, so moving from our profoundly volatile protagonist to the architects of the war,
Yeah.
let's analyze the antagonists in Section 2. And we have to start with Nismera, the true political force and the ultimate schemer.
Nismera is the perfect antithesis to Dianna and Samkiel. Where they are driven by loyalty and love, Nismera embodies pure, ruthless ambition.
Her core motive is just power. Power above all else.
Exactly. She openly views emotions like love and family as weak, which perfectly explains her absolute contempt for Samkiel and Dianna's bond. She sees it as a liability.
She sees them as obstacles to her destiny, believing the throne belongs to her by right of superiority, of intelligence. And her strategic cruelty is... It's chilling. It's never impulsive.
No, her cruelty is a calculated tool of psychological warfare. You just have to look at her treatment of Miska. She threatens her family, warns her that your family will be nothing but dust if Miska doesn't comply.
But the highest stakes example is the public execution attempt on Dianna.
Yes. The objective there was not merely to kill the World Ender. It was to inflict maximum psychological torture on Samkiel. Her quote confirms this completely. After I am done with her, he can watch her corpse rot.
Ugh.
She wants to break him, not just defeat him.
That deep-seated need to inflict emotional pain, the active denial of empathy. It really hints at a past that's far more complex than just a simple bid for the throne.
And the sources provide a shocking discovery that completely reshapes our understanding of the entire Primordial and God's War.
This is the primordial secret.
This is it. Caden and Isaiah uncover it. In this hidden atrium, they find confirmation that Nismera was secretly married to Nidurtur, the king of Primordial's realm walker.
And the key detail is the timing.
The timing is everything. She accepted his marriage proposal before the Gods' War even began.
Wait, so if she was engaged to the primordial king before the Great Conflict, doesn't that imply she might have been a double agent? Or that her ambitions were always aligned against the gods she was pretending to serve?
Absolutely. It just explodes the narrative of her being Unir's dissatisfied general. It suggests her history is rooted in the very conflict that ravaged the realms. She didn't just ally with a dangerous faction at the last minute.
She married the enemy sovereign.
She married him. This revelation makes her role in that initial war incredibly murky. It suggests that Unir's downfall and maybe even the destruction of Reshiram could all be traced back to her calculated manipulations while she was still technically on the side of the gods.
It also provides huge context for her anti-emotion stance. If she betrayed her own kind by marrying the primordial king, maybe she views emotion as a weakness that almost exposed her ultimate loyalty to Nidingir.
It creates this powerful thematic counterpoint, doesn't it? Diana and Samkiel's love is destructive, but also stabilizing, while Nismera's calculated betrayal and her denial of emotion is the ultimate corrupting force stretching back for millennia.
Wow. Okay, now let's pivot to the deeply complicated figures of Caden and Isaiah. They are also egomorphin, and they are inextricably linked to Diana, which creates this perfect strategic dilemma for Samkiel.
That link is the fundamental constraint of the entire plot. Death himself confirms it's the perfect plan.
Because Samkiel can't kill them.
He can't. He cannot kill Caden or Isaiah, because if he does, Diana dies as well. This connection is a failsafe. It means Samkiel has to manage his immense, oblivion-fueled rage and either work alongside or cage two individuals who have deeply, deeply hurt the woman he loves.
All while knowing their death means hers.
It's a tragic masterpiece of plotting designed to completely neutralize the World Ender's protector.
And their personal history is just as grim. They served as Unir's weapons, they carried out heinous acts, most notably the act that led to the death of Diana's sister, Gabby.
And then they paid the price for Unir's paranoia. They were locked away in Yejidin for centuries, believing their father and Zassin had just abandoned them, thrown away.
And that prolonged exile created this profound trauma rooted in abandonment.
You see it in Isaiah's bitter comment. He says something like, "I thought you'd hate me for getting us exiled. Leave me the first chance you got." It shows that their survival hinged entirely on their sibling bond because they assumed that everyone else, especially their own father, was willing to just discard them.
They are defined by the consequences of duty without loyalty.
Perfectly said.
But then Caden's confession about his unrequited love for Diana, that adds another layer of just agonizing complexity. He tells Diana that he loved her but was instructed to be cruel to her.
And he says he pushed her away in the only way I knew how. I mean, this dynamic is a powerhouse of internal conflict.
It really is.
Caden carried out these acts of duty, including the ones that harmed Diana, to survive and to protect Isaiah, all while wrestling with these genuine, powerful feelings for her. He even defends his feelings to death and to Samkiel, insisting, "It was and is real to me, even if it looked like manipulation to everyone else."
So his cruelty was a self-inflicted wound. It was necessary for his survival under Unir and Nismera.
It was. But Samkiel, who is already battling the inherent rage of oblivion inside him, he cannot stand it.
His jealousy is explosive.
It's off the charts. Anytime Caden is even mentioned, Samkiel's rage just boils over. He refuses to believe Caden's feelings were anything other than a cynical manipulation to break Diana.
Which is understandable from his perspective.
Of course. Caden represents everything Samkiel hates. Betrayal, abandonment, and a physical threat to Diana, all wrapped up in a rival who also knows the pain of being Unir's disposable son.
And that shared trauma, contrasted with their opposing paths, it makes their forced alliance utterly fraught.
Completely. Caden succumbed to duty and cruelty, while Samkiel fought for love and control. After they battle Nismera together and have to team up, Samkiel is literally holding his breath, just containing the oblivion inside him to keep Diana alive.
It just shows the immense personal cost of this war. The forces fighting for the realms are constantly being undermined by their own ancient history and their emotional baggage.
It's a war on two fronts for every single character.
Okay, let's shift our focus now to the wider world. The war isn't just between our protagonists and Nismera. It involves a collapsing political structure and an array of shifting, often unreliable loyalties.
We have to look at the official power structure first, the Gods' Council. The atmosphere among the remaining gods, Blaine, Athos, Koa, it's not one of unified resistance against Nismera.
Not at all. It's paralyzing fear.
It's total fear. And crucially, they are focusing that fear on Samkiel.
Which seems insane. Why is Samkiel the primary threat and not the known usurper, Nismera, who is actively trying to kill them all?
Because of history. It always comes back to history. They worry he has gone rogue because of his alliance with an Igmorathan, with Diana. Their primary, overwhelming concern is avoiding a repeat of the last catastrophic conflict that led to the destruction of Reshiram.
So they're scared of another war on that scale.
The memory of that devastation is so severe that they prioritize safety and paralysis over any kind of proactive defense. Blaine specifically argues that Igmorathans are unpredictable, wild, and ferocious. If Samkiel doesn't align with their conservative, cautious agenda, they believe they're outnumbered and just heading toward total annihilation anyway.
So their fear of the unpredictable destructive force, which is Diana and Samkiel, is driving them toward this cautious paralysis. And that just leaves a power vacuum that Nismera can exploit.
It's a critical political failure, and it's all driven by historical trauma. The perception of Diana as a world ender is actively pushing the Gods' Council to view Samkiel as a greater threat than Nismera, who, despite her ruthlessness, at least represents a known political hierarchy they think they can manage.
And in stark contrast to this political cowardice, we find Miska, the last Jade City healer. She embodies this quiet, unwavering sense of duty.
Meniska's arc is so powerful precisely because she's a pawn who just refuses to stop being a healer. She's captured, she's threatened by Nismera, her family's life is leveraged against her, and yet her core identity prevails. She bravely treats Caden and Isaiah after Nismera fatally wounds them during their internal fight.
She is healing the very people who carried out the act that destroyed Diana's family, but she just clings to her duty.
The duty her mother instilled in her to heal. And her devotion to Diana and Samkiel is so profound because they offer her what this fractured world has denied her.
A real home.
A true, stable home. When she asks Samkiel if she can stay, he gives her this beautiful assurance. Miska, this is your home. Your place is here with us forever and ever. She represents that simple, powerful loyalty that stands against the Machiavellian schemes of Nismera and the paranoia of the Gods' Council.
That desire for belonging, it drives the rebels too. Particularly Camilla and Vincent, who demonstrate that love sometimes requires sacrificing immense power.
Vincent, who is Nismera's former lover, he became a traitor because he feared what she would demand of him, especially regarding Camilla. He prioritized his moral integrity and his new bond over his established power base.
And Camilla, who's carrying the potentially world-altering medallion, she reinforces this theme during a massive confrontation with Milani's guards.
It's an amazing moment. When they are cornered, Camilla throws the medallion away. She sacrifices one of the greatest sources of power in the realms simply to distract the guards and save Vincent.
Because she recognized he is the one thing I cannot live without.
It's a stunning display of an anti-power philosophy. While gods and kings are fighting over these artifacts and thrones, the rebels are choosing personal, profound loyalty over global, world-altering capability.
It's a clear message. Love and duty to others are the most important assets, not some divine strength.
Right. And this action occurs against the backdrop of Milani's immense tactical threat. We have to give the scale of her power its due. Milani, the Queen of Trugerum and Samkiel's very calculating ex, commands a massive armada.
And the description of her main warship is critical to understanding the stakes here.
It really is. It's described as being the size of a small city, a floating dock capable of deploying thousands of soldiers instantly. This isn't just a fleet, it's a mobile fortress. If Nismera successfully integrates that armada into her forces, the war is essentially lost due to overwhelming numbers and infrastructure.
Which is why Samkiel and Dianna's plan to destroy it was a strategic necessity. It wasn't just a personal rescue mission.
Not at all. Diana had to use her full power in the sky to breach the main ship, and then Samkiel followed to disrupt the command structure. They had to neutralize this mobile, annihilating threat before it could be fully deployed against them.
And finally, in this section, we need to pause on the tragedy of Xavier. He was Samkiel's hand, a core ally, and Cameron's friend. He was presumed dead.
Right. He reappears alive at the Gods' Council, but his rescue isn't a victory. It's a new form of trauma.
The betrayal that breaks him is so deeply personal. The Gods' Council feeds him evidence that makes him believe Cameron lied about their entire relationship.
Claiming their friendship was built purely on guilt. Not love, not loyalty. Guilt.
And Xavier just breaks down. He realizes his bond with Cameron, what he perceived as his true home, was a fundamental lie.
And this specific lie, this fabrication that his friend felt guilt rather than genuine affection, it just destroys Xavier's sense of self-worth and purpose. He feels betrayed by everyone, including Samkiel, who he believes abandoned him.
It illustrates how psychological warfare, the fracturing of personal bonds through these deep-seated lies, is often more effective at dismantling alliances than any physical weapon.
The trauma is so great he can barely function. And just like that, a vital alliance is shattered.
The war, therefore, is not won or lost by armies.
It's won or lost by the emotional integrity of the key players.
As the conflict reaches its peak, Samkiel and Dianna realize they are just drastically outmatched by Nismera's legions and the threats posed by Milani. They move into a desperate endgame, and it's all centered on finding raw power.
Their strategy shifts entirely. It's no longer about defense. It's about enhancing Diana's already immense capabilities. She insists they have to find Gathriel's chalice.
She knows she needs a desperate power boost to fight Nismera's consolidated armies. She says it bluntly, we do not have an army.
Their only chance is overwhelming, decisive individual power.
And the setting of this quest is so crucial to understanding the weight of the power they're seeking. They're led into this tomb, this labyrinth, walking on ancient bone.
And the cavern itself is a ruined version of Gathriel's own realm. It was utterly destroyed not by an enemy, but by his own oblivion, unleashed through his grief.
So the environment is telling a story.
Exactly. The power that Dianna seeks is literally grief-infused and world-shattering. This isn't a chalice of life or light. It's a container of the trauma that killed Viviv and their child. She has to weigh the strategic necessity of this power against the psychological risk of absorbing Gathriel's immense, destabilizing grief.
And she takes that ultimate risk. She drinks the blood from the chalice. What are the immediate consequences?
The consumption triggers a flood of visions and memories. It's an information overload that confirms the full extent of Gathriel's trauma, the loss, the ensuing rage, the catastrophic self-destruction of his realm.
And it reinforces that shared connection of overwhelming grief between her and the first Igmarithan.
She gains the power she desperately needs, but in doing so, she integrates a universe of ancient, unprocessed pain into herself.
Meanwhile, Samkiel is desperately trying to broker alliances, contain his own rising oblivion, and prepare for the inevitable confrontation. Everything converges at Nismera's fortress, where she prepares the ultimate trap.
Nismera attempts the public execution of Dianna. It's a spectacle designed to lure Samkiel into a predictable rage, allowing her to control the terms of his oblivion.
And she reveals her meticulous planning by using a specialized weapon.
A spear infused with the fragments of the medallion.
And that infused weapon allows her to strike down Reggie, the Fate, fatally wounding him. It confirms her willingness to eliminate anyone loyal to Dianna, even the embodiment of destiny itself.
Reggie's death is a devastating blow. It removes the last figure of neutral power and wisdom from the board, and Dianna, even in chains, just rages and mourns him, promising vengeance. She realizes that Nismera hasn't won because she hasn't broken Diana's will, only her alliances.
But then the ultimate horror arrives. Nismera kills Dianna, striking her with the silver blade. And everyone, the whole world, expects Samkiel to just explode in a torrent of chaotic, unmanaged rage.
The classic reaction of the World Ender's protector, the beast finally unleashed.
But his reaction is so much more devastating because it's the antithesis of chaos. He enters a state of pure, cold-blooded, murderous silence.
And that silence is oblivion in its purest, most controlled form. It's the void made manifest. There's no heart or soul left in him. There's only the fulfillment of destiny. Samkiel is oblivion, and he is now fully, completely embracing that truth.
He unleashes it in an unimaginable display. He destroys the city, he tears the sky apart, and he views the chaos as fitting, declaring that Dianna owned all of me, and without her, he no longer has a heart or a soul.
He fulfills the prophecy, not as a raging beast, but as an absolute calculating void.
This is the moment where the rules of the reality should just end. The World Ender is dead, and the force of oblivion has been unleashed. And yet,
The sources provide the final universe-shattering twist.
Dianna wakes up. She's healed, she's completely whole, but she's not in the ruins of the city. She's in a domestic setting that is wholly, terrifyingly wrong.
She realizes she is somehow in the past. And her sister, Gabby, the sister whose death was the root of all of Diana's grief and power activation, is alive.
It's a massive spoiler.
Oh.
A temporal and reality shift that defies all the previously established laws of magic and time in their world.
She was killed by a silver blade, completely annihilated, and yet she returns to a point in time before her central trauma even occurred.
What does this imply about the nature of her power? Or maybe the nature of Samkiel's silent oblivion? Did his void somehow rip a hole in space-time?
It suggests a power far beyond just destructive capability. It's a raw force tied to her identity as the Igmaruthan that allows her to cheat not just death, but reality itself. And you have to consider, she had just consumed Gathriel's grief power. Perhaps the accumulated grief and oblivion upon her death didn't destroy her, but propelled her backward, seeking to undo the source of that primal pain, the loss of Gabby, the loss of Viviv.
It's the ultimate paradox. The World Ender, the one meant to annihilate all things, potentially gained the power to rewrite all things, beginning with her own deepest trauma.
So this deep dive, it really confirms that the War for the Realms is fundamentally a war fought over love and family. It's this contrast between Nismera's denial of emotion and the destructive, yet somehow stabilizing, devotion of Samkiel and Dianna.
They are literally connected to the forces they're fighting, and they choose to redefine what it means to be royal, not by blood or by duty, but by protection and mutual devotion.
Absolutely. We've seen these ancient prophecies fulfilled, the true nature of oblivion revealed in both its fiery emotional form and its cold, silent void form.
And maybe most tragically, we've uncovered the devastating consequences of Unir's ambition and his fear on his own sons, Samkiel, Caden, and Isaiah. The cost of that leadership wasn't just power, it was profound personal betrayal.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Diana's realization that she woke up in the past healed is paramount. She survived true death and appears to be in a reality where Gabby is alive. This suggests a power beyond even oblivion or the Fate's abilities, a power capable of warping time and reality itself.
Hmm.
Reggie, the Fate, he never explicitly stated that the final prophecy of the Shuddering Crack was about Gabby's death being the central point. He implied it was about Samkiel's destiny being fulfilled. The implication now is that her survival and arrival in the past is the ultimate uncontrollable variable that could change everything.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought for you to chew on. If Diana, the world ender, can cheat death, time, and space, waking up in the past after being killed by Nismera, does she possess a power that is meant not just to destroy the world, but to rewind and rewrite the fate of the realms? And if she succeeds in rewriting the past to save Gabby, what will be the price for that new reality? Especially if the new past is one where Samkiel might still be destined to unleash the oblivion that ends everything.